Because nature say survive and reproduce. That's not all there is to life, but that is the basis of existing.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real life street stars. You know what time it is. I gotta ask you one question about the Candace thing. They voted you off.
Uh-huh.
And you was like right in the middle of cooking her ass. Why did they vote you off? And did you feel some type of way?
So you ever been to the casino?
Oh, have I?
So you know people when they go to the casino, you know people play blackjack wrong, right?
Okay, break that down.
Because the goal of blackjack is to make the dealer bust, right? But the people who get up there, they be thinking about their own hand. They ain't playing with the group that's sitting up there with them, right? So this was just a debating form of blackjack. The 20 didn't realize that we was all on the same team. Everybody playing for their own end. We supposed to be making the dealer bust. Candace was the dealer. We supposed to be making her bust. If you see one of the players rolling, you let them roll. Right? You let them roll. Right. But because everybody want they shine and they thinking individually, that's what that was all about.
So again, we see ego come into play. Why do we live so much in a place of ego? Like, why is that such a big part of our personalities?
Because nature say survive and reproduce. That's not all there is to life, but that is the basis of existing, right? See, existing and living are two totally different things. To exist and life are two totally different things. To exist is surviving and reproducing, which requires that your ego, most people don't even know what the ego is. The ego is the part of the brain that mediates between the subconscious and the conscious mind that's responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. So basically, your ego is always scanning the environment to attach itself to something with the goal of surviving and protecting itself, right? So because that's the nature, you're gonna have a hard time moving beyond that because life requires that you overcome that, but existing requires that you exist in that. So since most people can't get past their biological nature, we all think that all we're supposed to do is reproduce physically. We don't ever rise above that into the space that requires that we move past that because our nature is so hardwired into us.
So are we doomed?
For the most part, yeah.
You said something interesting. You said nature, right? So do you feel that we are all here for a purpose?
Purpose is something that you manufacture for yourself, right? So there is a purpose, right? That is based on your ability to build. So nature just is. Nature is all that there is. But there are tools and resources in nature that could be used to build certain things.
Right.
Whatever you build has to come from what already exists.
Right.
You have the power to create a purpose within that framework that you build. It's not just given to you just in raw nature. You got to create that, right? So life is what you make it.
Right.
Existing is pure suffering. To exist is pure treachery and suffering. You can take that and build something out of it. Right. That is your purpose. If you can't do that, then a lot of times if listening to me will make you very nihilistic. Right?
Because it doesn't feel like there's everybody, it just feels like the world is lost. It just feels like everybody is just walking around lost.
They are. And there's a reason for that. Because there's never been any guidance about what life is and what you're really here for. Most people have to be given a purpose by something external. But that part is breaking down. Over the last 20 years, religion has been the main source of giving people something to live for.
Right.
That is breaking down rapidly, right?
But is that a good or bad thing?
It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing for people who cannot self-govern, for people who do not have vision or sight. Those people have always relied on something external to tell them how to live, how to move, and what to live for. Spirituality is for people who have the ability to go within and to find a higher purpose without the need for religion. Most people are not there. And when you remove religion, you remove the very thing that was holding men together, men and women, holding them together. So now you have a breakdown mentally, emotionally, and spiritually with these people. And so there is a rush to implement some controls as we transition from religion into a world of artificial intelligence. And this is the reason why Texas has forced the 10 Commandments to be in the schools, because they see what's happening and they're scrambling to try to hang on to what was keeping people together, which was religion. So they think that they can go back, but it's already too late for that. But that's one of the reasons why they going back to that.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move. Hey.